Huzzah, my friends, and welcome back to the Minimalist run for Twilight Princess and the Nintendo GameCube. And, yeah. Last time we just bought ourselves the slingshot. And today we're gonna show it off. But, since we're just starting off the episode, let's first show off how we normally go about this. Now, if we're not pulling off the glitch, let's equip the slingshot and the bottle, because we don't really need the fishing rod at all. And let's go about this normally. Let's go about this the way normal gamers would. I think if you've heard of this glitch by now, you might know what I'm implementing, but I'm just showing it off anyway, just in case you don't know. But this is the wooden sword. It's a practice sword that's pretty much only used for the prologue portion of the game. I guess there's an intro and prologue to me, like when you start off the game and you have your first day of work, or whenever you go to Link working for the first time in the game. Then I guess I count that as the intro, but everything else seems like a prologue to me. I don't know, I classify things by the weirdest of terms, but I don't care. Whoa! Yep, I guess I'm not all that poor after all. Man, my tongue hurts for some reason. Last time I bought Chick-fil-A late at night. Gonna have to try to watch how I talk. Otherwise I might bite my tongue again. Man, it hurts! Ugh. So basically, this is a forced tutorial of sorts. And this is one of the slow pacing problems I was talking about. Now, essentially, Wind Waker did have one too, but really, I think the only time Wind Waker did such a thing was when it taught you how to use the Wind Waker, which was understandable. Let me do something real quick. I don't like the L targeting options I have set. Well, actually, you know what? I'll implement that later. That's right, I'm doing the glitch. I need to remember that. But, yeah. A lot of the later Zelda games have a bunch of tutorials that I'm not too fond of. Granted, it's not too bad in Twilight Princess. I mean, yeah, it's enough to irk me just a little bit. But trust me, it's not as bad as later Zelda games come when it comes to up your throat tutorials. Skyward Sword. But, essentially, there's a good and bad way to teach players. I think this is sort of a middle ground to that, honestly. I don't know, I just kind of prefer reading signs and just figuring out that sort of thing on my own, really. You know, kind of like how Mega Man X1 taught you things, you know. Having a game teacher and such, you know. Granted, Mega Man X1 did overemphasize the learning curve a bit too much into the game, and, well, I have a little special surprise in regards to that game coming up soon. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And I guess I'll save my thoughts for that. Oh man, the iconic spin attack. Gotta love that junk. And I'm sorry if I'm just scrolling right past this text. I'm pretty sure a lot of people coming into this Let's Play probably know how to do all of these fancy sword shenanigans and stuff. Ah! What? Oh man, that felt so good. Tell the truth. Do you get it? Maybe. Possibly. It's one of them darn monkeys! Alright, so let's follow after the kitties. Let's see if we can catch up with them by grabbing Epona, who just so happens to be sitting right over here. Colin's just kind of sitting over there in the passageway over to Ordon Village. He's very timid. He's not exactly what I'd call a sociable person. Well, yeah. Surprised you got this far at all. Okay, so now that we've caught up everybody to speed, let's reset the console and implement that glitch I was talking about. Now, do you know that wooden sword that I was just carrying around? Essentially, sometime at the end of the prologue, you're forced to give it away. But there is a glitch as to where you can actually implement that into the game, and the fact that you can keep it throughout the entire game. Well, the way I'm doing it is that I'm essentially only keeping it for half the game. And there was a way to keep it for the entire game, but believe me, I've tried it, folks, and I hate to say this, but I kind of gave up. But the first thing you want to do is obviously not grab the wooden sword, but rather you want to take this stone right here and carry it with you over to the gate. And the story scenario will carry on as usual, despite the fact that it technically hasn't really happened yet. It's weird, I know, but that's just the way the game was programmed. And what you want to do is you want to take this okay, now once you do that, you can try to see if you can clip out of the gate here. It's very tricky to do, folks, but alas, with much timing and much practice, you can get out of here. It's very difficult to do. You gotta get this down, like, perfectly, otherwise you're gonna be stuck. But you essentially want to keep rolling until you knock into the wall. Like that! And, alas, we have implemented the glitch. The story carries on as usual, and don't worry, you can still grab Epona. They conveniently have horse grass waiting for us at the entrance of Faron Woods. So once we grab that, everything will carry on as usual, with the only exception being that the silly monkey music isn't playing. It's all quiet and junk, which is understandable. I highly doubt the game was programmed to be this way. Gotta watch the time there. So, with no regards to that glitch whatsoever, let's pretend like nothing happened, and let's keep on talking as if the story itself is carrying on as usual. So come over here and you'll find this hobo of sorts. Yeah, you can kind of tell he's not from around here. Well, you got a good point. Oh, hey, he's got birdie friends. Hope one of them's not the Flappy Bird. Oh, stop it. But, basically, the lantern's a little bit different this time around. In Twilight Princess, I think it's the first 3D Zelda game, whereas you don't actually have a magic meter. So, in order to use the lantern efficiently, you have to have plenty of lantern oil on hand. You can see that little yellow bar right underneath the heart meter there. Let's test it out right here. And the only way you can fill up the lantern oil is by buying some. So, It's definitely not something you can easily find in the grass or pots or anything. So, be on the lookout for it. Or rather, be on the lookout for making sure you don't accidentally waste it. And not be able to do a thing about it, I guess. So yeah, that's proof right there that the story is carrying on normally as usual. The slingshot does have capability of killing enemies, just not all of them, and with certain enemies it just takes absolutely forever. So, believe me, it's possible to get through this portion, it's just somewhat tricky. So, let's not save, actually. Let's go over to the options and then switch the L targeting to switch. That's the way I like to go about things whenever I'm playing a 3D Zelda game. I've never liked hold, personally. I always thought that switching from one enemy to another via that method was just really awkward. That, and I guess I just don't really like holding buttons all that much, so... Unless I'm charging up something or whatever. So yeah, whenever you're not using your lantern, then by all means, make sure you just put it away, because whenever you have it out, that itself also uses lantern oil, and that's no good. No good at all. But anywho, if you look at the map here, you got like 2 big red spots here. You want to go to the right one first, so you can get yourself a key. And you can't get to the other red spot without doing so. So we need to go and do that first. And if you light torches there, you can actually get yourself a piece of heart. The very first piece of heart in the game. But I'm not doing that. I mentioned before that I'm doing this game via a 3 heart run method. So, yeah, ain't happening. So, just kind of make your way through the woods here. It's okay if you take a few hits here and there. The enemy damage ratios aren't particularly powerful in this portion of the game. And for most of the game, actually, that's pretty much the reason why I did a 3 heart run, because really, I just don't find the enemies all that threatening in this game. Most of them really only do about a quarter heart's worth of damage, and I don't get that. Why did they decide to do that? That, like, takes all of the challenge, or what little exists anyway, out of the game to me. It just never made any sense. Granted, there are very, very few exceptions, but not enough to really make it a universal thing that affects the game, you know? But anywho, TLoZ and the monkey is over here. And we would cut that cage apart with the wooden sword, but we don't have a wooden sword, so we need to have the bokoblins take care of that for us. So have the bokoblins break it apart for you right here. And I guess that makes sense for them to be able to break it, but neither does clipping their club through the monkey and TLoZ, so that half makes sense and half of it don't, so... Or half of it doesn't, rather, but you get what I'm saying. Oh gosh darn it, I hate that. Ow! But anywho, next time, my friends, we shall defeat this bokoblin and save TLoZ from the clutches of evil monsters. Oh noes. See you guys then.